The two paths of the field. In the very beginning of the world's story, the earth was vast and waiting. Adam and Eve, the first to walk its hills, welcomed two sons into their home. The eldest was Cain, and the younger was Abel. The brothers grew under the wide, open sky, learning the secrets of the land their parents had first known. As the boys grew into men, they chose different ways to live. Cain loved the rhythm of the seasons and the strength of the earth. He became a farmer, tilling the soil to grow golden grain and sweet fruits. Abel loved the quiet company of living things. He became a shepherd, watching over a flock of gentle sheep that wandered the meadows. One day, it came time for the brothers to bring a gift to the Creator to show their gratitude. Cain gathered the finest things he had grown from the ground. He brought baskets overflowing with ripe produce and sheaves of grain, placing them carefully upon a stone altar. Abel also brought a gift. He chose the very best of his flock, the firstborn lamb, healthy and pure. He offered it with a heart full of humbleness and faith, looking toward the heavens with a quiet hope. The Creator looked with favor upon Abel and his sincere gift, but for Cain's offering, there was no such sign. Cain felt a cold shiver of resentment. His face fell, and a dark shadow of anger crossed his heart. He couldn't understand why his hard work in the fields wasn't enough. The Creator spoke to Cain's heart, offering a gentle warning. "Why are you angry?" the voice whispered. "If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But watch your heart, for anger is like a crouching beast at the door, wanting to master you." Cain, however, did not listen to the warning. One morning, Cain called out to his brother. "Let us go out to the field," he said. Abel, trusting and kind, followed Cain far away from their home. In the tall grass, hidden from the eyes of their parents, Cain's anger finally boiled over into a terrible choice that could never be undone. The voice of the Creator called out again, echoing through the trees. "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain turned his head away, his voice trembling with defiance. "I do not know," he lied. "Am I my brother's keeper?" But the truth was written in the very soil beneath his feet. Because of his actions, Cain was told he would be a wanderer, forever searching for a place to belong. But even in justice, there was a touch of mercy. The Creator placed a special mark upon Cain to protect him from harm as he traveled. Cain left his family and moved to the land of Nod, east of the garden. In the new land, Cain built a life and a family. He founded a city and named it after his son, Enoch. His descendants became great craftsmen. Some played the harp and flute, while others forged tools of bronze and iron. Though the shadow of the past remained, life continued to branch out across the earth. Back in their first home, Adam and Eve mourned the loss of both their sons, one gone to the earth and one gone to the horizon. But in time, a new joy arrived. Eve gave birth to another son. She named him Seth, saying, "God has granted me another child in place of Abel." Seth grew to be a man of peace, and he too had a son named Enosh. It was during this time that people began to call upon the name of the Creator once more. Though the world had known tragedy, the line of Seth offered a new beginning, a path of light for the generations to follow. The long journey of the generations. Long ago, after the world was newly made, the first man named Adam lived a very long life. He spent 930 years watching the seasons change and the world grow. Adam saw many children and grandchildren born, telling them stories of the garden and the wonders of the earth. He was the beginning of a great family that would stretch across many centuries. Adam's son was named Seth, a man of great faith. When Seth grew older, he had a son named Enosh. It was during this time that people began to call upon the name of the Lord together. Seth taught Enosh how to care for the land and how to remember the Creator who had given them life. Many generations followed as the years turned into centuries. After Enosh came Kenan, then Mahalalel, and then Jared. These men lived for hundreds of years, tending to their families and their fields. Jared lived for 962 years, witnessing the world change and the forests grow tall around him. Among these descendants was a man named Enoch. Enoch was very special because he did not just live on the earth. The Bible tells us that Enoch walked with God. Every day, he talked with God and followed his ways with a humble and loving heart. His life was a beautiful light to everyone around him. Enoch's walk with God was so close and so wonderful that something miraculous happened. One day, when Enoch was 365 years old, he was simply gone. He did not die as others did. Instead, God took him home to be with him forever. It was a mysterious and holy moment in the history of the world. Enoch had a son named Methuselah, who became famous for living the longest life ever recorded. He lived for 969 years. Methuselah saw the world grow old and saw many generations of his family come and go. He was a pillar of wisdom for his children and his children's children. Methuselah's son was named Lamech. Lamech lived in a time when the earth was difficult to farm and the work was very hard. He often felt tired from the toil of his hands. He hoped and prayed for a son who would bring a sense of peace and rest to his weary family and the ground they worked. When Lamech was 182 years old, his son was born. Lamech named the baby Noah, which means rest or comfort. Lamech said, "This boy will bring us rest from our hard work and the sorrow of our hands." He held the tiny baby close, believing that God had sent a special helper to the world. Noah grew up to be a man of great character. Just like his great-grandfather Enoch, Noah walked with God and sought to do what was right. Even though the world around him was becoming a difficult place, Noah remained faithful and strong, listening for God's voice in his heart every day. As the years passed, Noah became a father to 3 sons. The first was Shem, who was a helper to his father. They worked together in the fields and shared stories of their ancestors, from Adam all the way down to Methuselah. Noah taught Shem how to be a man of faith and integrity. Soon, Shem was joined by 2 younger brothers, Ham and Japheth. The 3 brothers grew up side by side under Noah's watchful eye. They were the 10th generation from Adam, the first man. Together with their father, they stood ready to face a new chapter in the story of the world, carrying the legacy of the generations before them. The great Ark of Noah. Long ago, the world was filled with many people, but as the cities grew, kindness began to fade. Instead of helping one another, people took what was not theirs and filled the streets with anger. The green valleys, once peaceful, became places of noise and fear. In those days, there were giants on the earth, mighty men of renown. One of them was Enoch, a warrior so tall his shadow covered entire houses. These giants sought only glory and power, using their great strength to rule over others, until the whole earth was filled with violence. The Creator looked down and saw that the hearts of men were filled with nothing but trouble. The earth was wounded by the cruelty of those who lived upon it. It grieved him that he had made them, and he decided to bring a great flood to wash the world clean and start again. But there was one man who was different. Noah walked with God. While the rest of the world was loud and angry, Noah was quiet and just. He and his wife, Ada, lived simply, keeping their hearts pure and their hands busy with honest work. One day, a voice like the rustling of leaves spoke to Noah's heart. "The end of all flesh is before me," God said. "Build yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and out with pitch to keep the water away." The plan was grand and specific. The ark was to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. It would be a wooden giant of its own, built to withstand the strongest waves and the heaviest rains. Noah began the long task of building. He and Ada gathered the gopher wood, hewing the logs and hoisting the heavy beams into place. People laughed as they passed by the dry land, wondering why a man would build a ship where there was no sea. The great vessel took shape with 3 levels: a lower deck, a second deck, and a third deck. Noah crafted a window near the top to let in the light, and a large door set into the side of the ark, wide enough for all who were invited to enter. Then came the animals. From the forests and the golden plains, 2 of every kind arrived, a male and a female. God told Noah to bring them into the ark to keep them alive, along with plenty of food for his family and every living creature. Finally, Noah's family gathered their things. Ada stood by his side as they prepared to step inside and leave the old world behind. The sky turned the color of slate, and the first heavy drop of rain fell. The time had come for the earth to rest beneath the waves.